Maddie, Ethan, Kaylee, and Xana. And these beautiful, smiling faces. These young people's lives played out on social media.
Additionally, the forensic team examined blood traces, fingerprints, and other evidence inside the house. There were no signs of sexual assault or restraint. Back in November 2022, 4 University of Idaho students were found murdered in their rental house in the small town of Moscow, Idaho. The tragedy completely shattered the peace of the quiet college town, as the killer seemed to disappear into thin air, until a sudden, shocking arrest turned the whole case upside down. Stay tuned, because we're going to break down the investigation, the key evidence, and the shocking twists behind this case. Hey guys, before we start the video, we just wanted to announce that we're making a new segment called Trace Your Story. For this segment, you can send in real-life stories that have happened to you, from horror stories and infidelity to crimes or any other true account. Send your story to varelshawn@gmail.com using this format. Email subject, trace your story. Story title, email body, tell us about your experience in as much detail as possible. Feel free to include photos divided by footage if you have any. Optional contact, your WhatsApp number or another way to contact you, if you're open to us asking for more details. We'll do our best to create and narrate your experience. I'm really looking forward to reading your emails, and who knows, your story might be the very first one featured on Trace Your Story. Don't forget to send in your stories, I'll be waiting and I can't wait to read them. Hey guys, it's Sean and welcome back. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well, because tonight we're diving into one of the most chilling college cases in U.S. history, the Idaho College Murders. What do you guys think? Is this case going to be an interesting one to cover? And if you're into true crime and deep dives on cases like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our next fascinating discussion. Without further ado, let's start, because you never know how deep this hole goes. It was Saturday night, the 12th of November 2022. Moscow, Idaho, was wrapped in the familiar, cold blanket of a late fall evening. The piercing November wind seemed to usher in a night that would be calm and unremarkable for almost everyone. But for 4 young people, that night marked the start of an unthinkable tragedy. Streetlights illuminated the wet sidewalks, and the University of Idaho campus still felt alive, even late at night. The 4 students, just minutes from their house at 1122 King Road, were unaware they were walking toward a horrifying fate. Around 8 p.m., 2 of them, Ethan Chapin and his girlfriend, Xana Kernodle, were getting ready for the night. They planned on going to a party hosted at the Sigma Chi fraternity house. The atmosphere there was warm and lively, filled with laughter and friendly chatter. Music played softly, creating a perfect environment for socializing and taking a break from the academic grind. Across town, 2 close friends, Madison Mogen and Kaylee Goncalves, who had been best friends since childhood, decided to spend their evening out. They stopped by the Corner Club, a popular sports bar. There, they seemed relaxed, enjoying drinks and chatting with other friends they ran into. They appeared completely carefree, just 2 friends enjoying their time together. As the early hours began to set in, their activities gradually wound down. Around 1:30 a.m., Ethan and Xana left the party, stepping out of the bustle and into the quiet night. They headed back to their 3-story rental house on King Road, where they lived with several friends. After enjoying their time at the bar, Maddie and Kaylee decided to grab a bite to eat. At 1:50 a.m., they were seen at the Grub Truck, a popular spot where many college students stop for late-night food before heading home. A few minutes later, they arrived back at the house, almost simultaneously with Ethan and Xana, who came in through a different door. Inside the house, life seemed to settle back into its normal rhythm. Maddie and Kaylee headed up to the 3rd floor, going toward their room, which was right at the top. Below them, on the 2nd floor, Ethan and Xana entered their room. Everything seemed normal. Maddie and Kaylee's phones showed completely unremarkable activity between 2:26 and 2:52 a.m. They made several unanswered calls to Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, These calls were typical for them, a routine that gave no indication of the danger to come. However, that tranquility shattered between 4 and 4:25 a.m. Within this incredibly brief window of time, the true horror began. Someone slipped into the house, likely through an unlocked door, moving like an unseen ghost and carrying a sharp weapon. The recorded phone activity shows that Xana was still using her apps around 4:12 a.m., a moment that may have been the turning point of the chaos. After that, a chilling silence fell over the house. A silence that could only be explained by terror. Down on the second floor, one of the surviving housemates, Dylan Mortensen, was woken by strange sounds. At first, she thought the noises were coming from upstairs, maybe just her friends having fun, or perhaps even their pets playing around. But the noise soon escalated into a muffled but distinct crying, sending her heart racing. A terrified Dylan stepped toward her door and, peeking through the crack, she saw a dark figure wearing a mask. The figure was walking slowly, as if nothing were wrong. Stunned, Dylan locked herself inside her room. But even amid her sheer terror, Dylan still managed to reach out, sending a text to her other housemate, Bethany Funk, who was downstairs. At about 4:22 a.m., she wrote, "No one is answering, desperately trying to check on her friends." Bethany quickly responded with a couple of panicked instructions. "Come to my room and run."
"I'm freaking out. I'm not kidding," Dylan Mortensen texted Bethany Funk.
Dylan kept trying to call Kaylee and Xana, but they didn't answer. She then left her room and started running toward Bethany's room. On her way, she saw Xana lying on her bedroom floor, her head facing the wall and her feet pointing toward the door.
She noticed Xana lying on the floor of her bedroom with her head towards the wall and her feet towards the door.
Dylan thought Xana was just drunk. Once she got downstairs to Bethany's room, they locked the door and both continued calling their other roommates, but still got no answer.
And both made additional unanswered calls to the other roommates.
Hours passed, and the next day at 11:50 a.m., just 6 minutes before the 911 call, Dylan reached out to her friends, Emily Allant and Hunter Johnson, because she was too afraid to go upstairs alone. Emily and Hunter then met Dylan and Bethany on the main floor of the house. Together, Dylan, Bethany, and Hunter started making their way up the stairs to the second floor. Once on the second floor, Hunter went into the kitchen to grab a kitchen knife. When Hunter came back out, Dylan said she saw Xana again for a moment and started sobbing because she thought she was just something. Dylan figured she was still drunk and had fallen asleep on the floor. Bethany also saw Xana lying on the floor. Hunter told Dylan and Bethany to get out. Emily, who had started to come up the stairs, also turned back after Hunter told her not to come any closer. The two of them left shortly after, and Hunter went outside and told them to call 911.
He was pale, white, and mentioned something about someone being unconscious.
That morning around 11:58 a.m., Dylan Mortensen called 911 after discovering the horrific scene.
911 location of your emergency. Something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
Police arrived quickly to find 4 lifeless bodies: Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, all victims of multiple severe stab wounds. There were no signs of forced entry on the doors, and Kaylee's dog was found inside the house, unharmed. The case instantly became front-page news, casting a deep shadow of fear and uncertainty over the small Moscow community and the nation as a whole. That night had extinguished the lives of 4 hopeful college students, sparking one of the most shocking criminal cases in the United States. What happened next? How did the police manage to find the killer? We'll cover it all. Next. After the 911 call came in at 11:58 a.m., on the 13th of November 2022, local police immediately responded to the scene at 1122 King Road. The first officers on site secured the house, ensured the surrounding area was safe, and promptly called in the forensics team to thoroughly document the crime scene. Investigators discovered the bodies of 4 students: Madison Mogen, 21, Kaylee Goncalves, 21, Xana Kernodle, 21, and Ethan Chapin, 20. All victims had suffered severe stab wounds, with no signs of sexual assault or bondage. No doors showed signs of forced entry, suggesting the perpetrator likely had easy access or used a stealthy method to gain entry. The campus community in the small town of Moscow immediately felt the tension. Many students, gripped by fear, decided to head home early or stay at friends' houses. The University of Idaho canceled classes on November 14 as a safety measure and offered counseling services to students. Investigators began collecting physical evidence from the house. Over 100 items were gathered for analysis, including blood residue, knife samples, and digital evidence. The victim's cell phone activity became a key point of focus. Digital records showed the victim's phone was last active in the early morning hours, before the murder took place. Furthermore, surveillance video footage captured a suspicious white car near the victim's house between 3:30 and 4:20 a.m. This evidence was later linked to the main suspect.
Minutes before investigators say he entered the home. Around 4:17 a.m., you hear what sounds like a voice, followed by a loud thud. Then a dog can be heard barking.
Bryan Kohberger, who was found to own a vehicle of the same make and model. The early stages of the investigation became the bedrock for the shocking arrests made only weeks later. The police were relentless, meticulously combing through digital footprints, physical evidence, and witness accounts to crack the mystery of that tragic night. The investigation was underway, but the whole story of that night hadn't fully come to light. New clues were slowly beginning to suggest a shocking turn of events, with every detail now a critical piece of the puzzle to expose the culprit. After the crime scene was secured and initial evidence collected, investigators meticulously began tracing every physical and digital lead. One crucial piece of evidence was the tactical knife used by the perpetrator, or at least the knife sheath found near the victim. Forensic analysis revealed DNA on the sheath that matched the primary suspect, Bryan Kohberger, which was later confirmed by DNA collected from trash at his Pennsylvania home. Beyond the physical evidence, the victim's cell phone activity became a crucial lead. Records of final calls, app usage, and cellular signals showed the phone was active until 4:12 a.m., then abruptly went silent at the time of the murders. Meanwhile, the suspect's own phone data revealed a suspicious pattern of movement around the crime scene, including the presence of a white Hyundai Elantra in the early morning hours. Officers also thoroughly reviewed surveillance video from the surrounding area. The white car seen in the footage was then matched to the suspect's vehicle.
I stopped, man, when you were driving by me there, you're a little too close to back at a semi.
Every detail, from the perpetrator's movements to the precise time they were at the location, became crucial for investigators as they built a timeline of the suspect's actions. In addition to that, the forensics team examined blood traces, fingerprints, and other evidence inside the house. There were no signs of sexual assault or restraint, but the victim's wounds were severe, indicating both cruelty and careful planning. Every one of these findings is helping investigators piece together a picture of how that tragic night unfolded and who was behind it. However, one detail from the autopsy results truly hit investigators hard. The medical report, released a few days after the crime scene investigation, revealed that Xana Kernodle had fought back fiercely. The injuries on her body showed an intense struggle for survival, including bruising on her arms and defensive wounds on her hands. The report even noted that Xana had sustained dozens of stab wounds, more than any of the other victims.
Is that Xana Kernodle put up a fierce fight when the attacker set upon her.
This finding led investigators to suspect that Xana was likely the last victim attacked that night, and that she may have come face to face with the killer before she died. This fact underscored the sheer brutality and unexpected nature of the attack, adding significant emotional distress for the victims' families and the campus community.
The Vandal family across the world is shaken by the loss of our four students.
As the evidence mounted, a pattern pointing directly to Kohberger became increasingly clear. A combination of digital and forensic investigations simultaneously wove a web of clues that led police to the arrest, which ultimately stunned the public. Every piece of evidence, no matter how small, was a crucial step in revealing who was responsible for the night that claimed the lives of these four students. Even as the evidence starts to point toward a suspect, the investigators' next move will reveal an unexpected surprise, ultimately bringing the case to a crucial turning point. After police sifted through physical and digital evidence, their focus narrowed sharply onto Bryan Kohberger, a doctoral student at the University of Idaho who had ties to his hometown in Pennsylvania. Patterns of cell phone movement, vehicle tracks, and DNA evidence began to paint a picture that pointed directly to the suspect. The arrest of Kohberger in Pennsylvania on the 30th of December 2022 was the result of compelling evidence gathered by investigators. This included a DNA match between trash from his house and a knife sheath found at the scene, along with digital records that tracked his car near the location during the pre-dawn hours of November 13.
Washington State University Cougars black sweatshirt and a pair of black and white size 13 Nike sneakers. Also seized, a pair of black Under Armour socks, large black Under Armour shorts, large Under Armour boxers, and one buckle swab.
Following the arrest, court documents unsealed in early January 2023 revealed shocking details. The murders were estimated to have occurred between 4 and 4:25 a.m. There were no signs of forced entry, suggesting the perpetrator entered quietly. Evidence indicated the victims were not sexually assaulted, but the stab wounds were extremely severe and spread across the bodies. Further investigation determined that Kohberger had meticulously planned out his actions. His digital trail and social media activity showed an extremely high level of premeditation, and investigators suspect he randomly selected the victims from the group of college students who were sharing the rental home. The arrests came as a shock to the public and the media because the case was not only brutal but also involved a young victim from a seemingly safe and quiet campus community. The fact that the perpetrators were ultimately caught, thanks to a blend of physical and digital evidence, serves as a clear example of how modern investigative work can crack complex cases. After the suspect was finally caught, the next big questions arose. How will this case unfold in court, and what theories are circulating among the public? The legal process kicked off following Bryan Kohberger's arrest on the 30th of December 2022. The Idaho court released documents detailing the timeline of evidence and investigative steps, which included DNA analysis, vehicle tracking, and digital forensics. Kohberger was ultimately indicted on 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 for each of the victims.
Plea agreement Monday afternoon, and had no inkling of it beforehand.
The initial hearing zeroed in on the evidence linking Kohberger to the crime scene. Investigators explained that all the victims were stabbed with a tactical knife, and the wound patterns suggested careful planning.
Went to the 3rd floor and, with a knife, killed Madison Mogen and Kaylee Goncalves.
There were no signs of sexual assault or bondage, underscoring that the perpetrator entered silently and chose the victims randomly. While all this was happening, public opinion really started to swell among college students and the wider community. Many people were scratching their heads, questioning Kohberger's motive, since he wasn't part of the victim's household and didn't seem to have any close ties to them. Wild theories exploded across social media and discussion forums, ranging from speculation about psychological issues to the possibility of other parties being involved. Criminology and forensic psychology experts have highlighted Kohberger's movement and behavioral patterns both before and after the incident. Their analysis suggests the suspect possessed a high degree of planning and the ability to remain calm in public, which initially complicated the investigation.
Just so that we know, there are 3 levels within this structure.
This case is a vital lesson for the campus community and the public on the crucial role of digital evidence in modern forensics. Even with an arrest made, the central questions regarding the perpetrator's motive, victim selection, and deeper psychological details remain highly compelling and complex subjects for discussion. Even as the legal process moves forward, the mystery surrounding the case continues to fuel fascinating questions and theories that people are eager to discuss. After the arrest and throughout the legal process, many questions surrounding the perpetrator's motivation and psychology have remained a mystery. Forensic experts and criminal psychologists have pointed out that Bryan Kohberger displayed a pattern of sophisticated and premeditated behavior. He was able to maintain his calm and control in public, and chose victims with whom he had no close relationship. This suggests a high degree of planning and likely minimal impulsivity. The prevailing psychological theory links this case to a combination of educational factors, social environment, and a specific psychological disorder. The analysis of the perpetrator's behavior, based on physical and digital evidence, suggests an ability to observe, assess risk, and execute a plan with precision. On the other hand, public opinion and media speculation are often varied. Many question whether there are external factors or hidden motives that haven't been revealed yet. This discussion opens up room to understand that modern criminal cases aren't just about the physical act. They're also about the perpetrator's mindset and psychology. What do you think was the real motivation behind this act? The University of Idaho case serves as a stark reminder that crimes which appear random often contain underlying patterns and logic. Thorough investigation, digital evidence, and psychological analysis are crucial for uncovering the truth. At the same time, the case offers a key lesson for both the campus community and the public about the importance of vigilance and understanding criminal psychology. This case is a stark reminder that danger can often come from the most unexpected places. A small town that usually feels safe can, overnight, turn into a place consumed by fear. Sometimes, the face of evil isn't just about darkness, but about a side of human nature that's incredibly difficult to grasp. Even though the truth finally came out, the scars left behind won't simply vanish. But in every tragedy, there's always a lesson about vigilance, about the importance of watching out for one another, and about understanding that people can hold secrets far deeper than we could ever imagine. So, that concludes our deep dive into the Idaho College Murders case involving Bryan Kohberger. What are your thoughts? Do you find this case compelling or absolutely chilling? What is the single thing that you find the most unsettling, the fact that the killer looked so ordinary, or the way this crime happened in a neighborhood we all considered safe? Drop your thoughts in the comments section, because every single perspective can give us more insight into the darker corners of this case. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Sorry if I misspoke at all, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from our channel. Because if you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for something I am. This is Trace Zero. Stay safe, and bye.